All right, well, plenty of action, certainly as far as central banks are concerned this week. Let's get a reading of what's going on. Pete McGuire joining us from XM. Pete, good to catch up with you as we always do on a Monday morning. So, on the central bank agenda this week, quite a few to contemplate. What are you watching?
Well, good morning, Andrew. I think first off, Thursday is a big one, naturally, for the ECB. Is 75? It seems to be baked in. I hear rumblings around there that they could even look at 100, but that could be extremely bullish. So we'll just have to wait and see how that all drops. And naturally, I'm looking at BOJ and what their thoughts are with the yen approaching that 150 handle. We've seen the US dollar give up a little bit of steam. So the yen's strengthened a little bit at that 148, but I feel as though we could be at 149 by Tuesday, Wednesday, Andrew.
Yeah, just as far as the yen is concerned then, so what are your thoughts about whether the BOJ is likely to intervene again? What's the likely trigger?
Well, interest rates, naturally, and the next part, of course, is inflation running at 3%. So that's the storyline that, the Japanese, I think that will be the go-to button. And as inflation starts to rally over there, the next part of the journey is how do they move forward. They've got a yen that's hot, very, very weak, considering, the graph says it all, doesn't it? Have a look at that. It's just a complete wipeout, 115 to 150. So, that's what currency trading's all about, those big, massive booms, and the yen's been an almighty opportunity.
Let's stick with currencies. Pete, what are you seeing with the Aussie at the moment?
Well, I noticed that you mentioned, Andrew, that 62 to 64, it's been an incredible move. We've seen a 3% rally over the last, say, 5 days or 4 days trading. So that's been a wonderful opportunity again. Aussie dollar, US dollars come off a little bit at 111.50 for that US dollar index. Aussie strengthened, Euro strengthened, pound strengthened. So, it's not a bad time. And again, I'm not sure how this week's going to play, but I think volatility will be the name of the game.
Yeah, you mentioned the euro has strengthened, of course, ahead of that ECB meeting. So what are the expectations there, Pete, what the ECB needs to do?
Well, I think needs to do, Andrew, you've got an inflation rate running at that 10% number. So there's the crucial impact that, Europe's facing. We understand a little bit of a washout we saw as far as energy prices, how everything's moving there heading into winter. We understand the next part of the journey. How aggressive is the ECB going to be as far as interest rates? And, do they front load as aggressively as what the Fed did or even more so? So they're playing catch up, and they're playing catch up real big. And that's why you could see either a 75 or 100 basis points this week. And then what do we see naturally in November and possibly even in December for Christmas?
Yeah, take a look at this chart, Pete. It looks dire, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Look, the euro has been one-way traffic again. Currencies have been the dynamite place to play this year, and I don't think that the opportunities are going to wane anywhere, anytime soon, because you've got those big impacts as far as interest rates and policy coming from central bankers globally, and that creates movement.
Yeah, and of course, so much of that inflation driven by energy at the moment, those prices, given the pressure Europe is under because of the sanctions against Russia. So, and that's only likely to continue as, of course, they're heading into their winter now.
Absolutely. So I think that, we've given up a little bit of steam. You've got Brent running at 93.50. You've got WTI at 85. So I feel as though they've been pretty heavily sold off in the last couple of days. I wouldn't be surprised to see those big whipsaws continue this week. The $1 and $2 moves per 24-hour session, not unusual. And let's just see what happens as far as demand picture. I think the China situation's now, Xi's got the mantle for the next 5 years, and that probably will turn the Chinese demand on for winter. So I think the energy sector is going to be dynamite as well.
Yeah, so just as far as the oil prices are concerned, it did rise on Friday. That was on expectations. Perhaps they'll see that demand will increase from China. Do you think there is greater certainty there? Clearly they're holding on to that zero COVID policy.
Yeah, well, that's true, Andrew, but I feel as though that, you will start to see you've got winter draw as far as heating, and you've got, the gas and the whole energy complex. So most analysts are saying that China will start to pick up gears in the short term, and that could be an increase as far as demand. So you've just got to see what happens as far as global demand for all their products. But, you've got 1.4 million consumers over there. So, they've got a fair bit of electricity to keep burning.
And Pete, just finally back to central banks, of course, we did have further commentary Friday, certainly from Mary Daly. That sort of encouraged markets, didn't it, as far as risk assets are concerned, because perhaps a hint that they're willing to be less aggressive going forward.
Well, that's right. I mean, she's out of San Fran, so I think that really spurred markets on, 2.5% up for the Dow. So it was a very nice move to the upside, and the market was very encouraging. So we've just got to wait and see how everything plays as far as Fed Chair Powell. You've got the bankers all over the states. They've all got an opinion on the panel, so that's good. That's a good thing. And we've just got to see what their leader says in November as far as either 50 or 75 basis points. The jury's out, and time will tell, Andrew.